Durham Chamber of Commerce. We will be recording this session, as you just saw, so that we can make sure to capture this information to give back, send back out to everyone who participated and maybe those who couldn't join, so that you could go back and refer to the great resources and information that we will be receiving today. Welcome to our February Small Business Series that's presented by Triangle Media Partners, parent company of Durham Magazine and Triangle Digital Partners. We are so thrilled to have you as our presenting sponsor this year for the series. And with that, I want to turn it over to Chris Elkins, who is from Triangle Media Partners, who is our presenting sponsor. Chris, you're on mute, darling. Yep, you're on mute. Okay, Chris, you're on mute. Yep.
Okay, sorry about that. Thank you, Angelique, and for all the people that are here today to learn more. I'm super excited about this small business series as well. I'm with Triangle Media Partners, and many of you may know us as Durham Magazine, and we publish other lifestyle magazines as well as DPAC Playbill and Visitors Relocation Guides, Heart of NC Weddings. And we also have a digital division. So we are a proud sponsor of this, and I'm super excited to hear what we're discussing today. So thank you for being here.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you so much. Triangle Media Partners is a great partner of ours. They do tremendous work around media and digital in our area and across the Triangle, actually. So we are excited to have them with us. We encourage you to put your information in the chat to reach out to others that you see on the call. We want this to be engaging and informative. We want it to be interactive. So if you have any questions during the presentation, Ariel will be happy we'll take those questions, and Ariel will help you with the questions in the chat. But please be sure to engage with each other, because that's what we want to do. So I want to introduce our presenter for today. First of all, happy President's Day to everyone. Sending love and light to President Jimmy Carter as he is battling his health issues, but just grateful for him and his service to our country. Happy Black History Month. We always want to celebrate that, especially in the great city of Durham, North Carolina. So I want to present to you all, introduce to some, present to others, Miss Ariel Germain, who is our presenter today. She is the Director of Marketing and Communications for Student Affairs at the North Carolina Central University, Eagle Pride. I'm a proud alumna, Eagle Pride. And we are excited to get this information today. And so Ariel, I will turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Angelique, and good afternoon, everyone. Are you able to see the presentation? All right, awesome. So as Angelique stated, my name is Ariel Germain. I am the Director of Marketing Communications for Division of Student Affairs at North Carolina Central University. Along with that role, I'm also an independent contractor specializing in social media, public relations, and marketing. A few fun facts about me: I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan, and I'm a two-time alumna of North Carolina Central University. Worked in collegiate athletics and marketing and communication for almost close to about 12 years before I transitioned into student affairs, and also had some experience working with small business in Washington, D.C., where I worked in the restaurant and food service industry to help restaurants open their businesses and showcase what they're doing in the city of the District of Columbia. So before we get started, I always want to kind of get a pulse of the room and see how people are feeling, if this is a space that you feel comfortable in. So just in the chat, drop an emoji that best describes how you feel about social media and social media strategy. It can be good, bad, or indifferent. There's no wrong answers. Okay, I see a happy face from Ms. Sheba. Okay, Cheyenne has an ups. Okay, I liked her eyes. Okay, loving this. So we have some good feelings about social media. That is awesome. That is awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing. So today we're going to go over 5 topics. We're going to talk about trends and what's happening in social media. We're going to focus on understanding your audience. We're going to go through some goals, strategy, and scheduling. We're going to talk about followers and the algorithm. And lastly, we're going to close out with writing for social media. At the end of each segment, I'll just give you some time to ask questions. So I won't speed past and go through each topic. I'll give you an opportunity to ask a few questions here and there. And feel free to put those questions in the chat as well. So trends of what's happening in 2023. So just as we saw at the end of just as we saw in 2022, video content still reigns supreme amongst platforms like TikTok, Instagram, with YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook falling into the fold by encompassing short form videos and reels and story updates as features for their platforms. By the end of 2022, TikTok notched more than 1 billion monthly active users worldwide compared to Instagram, which has 2 billion monthly active users. Organic video posts have more comments and likes than organic images, meaning those video contents are actually capturing more people than a still image or a photo that's being taken. So keep that in mind. It's a 40% increase on that space or on that content. So posting short videos is the way to go if you want to boost your engagement on Instagram. Instagram Reels can be up to 90 seconds in length. And while a minute and 30 seconds doesn't seem like a long time, keep in mind the average attention span is 8.5 seconds. So that is shorter than a goldfish. I know at one point it was like, it's the length of a goldfish. Now we're actually shorter. So yes, 8.5 seconds is the attention span. So best practices would be to keep your video content to 15 to 30 seconds with concise message when it comes to reigning supreme with video. So learn your insights, analytics, and other data. Learning more about your account's followers, performance through platform analytics and other data to understand how to increase engagement, how to create post success, and establish solid scheduling. For every successful brand on social media, there's data-backed backing determining that schedule, the best times to post, best days to post. Even the most splendid social media posts won't do your business any good if you do not publish them at the right time. Publishing during high traffic hours maximize the odds of catching your audience. Each social media platform has its own version of insights or analytics. So Instagram has, if you have a business account through Instagram, you'll be able to pull those analytics and see that information through their insights. You also have the same thing for Facebook and for Twitter. They all have some form of information they can provide you. There are other platforms that you can use, but if you are in a space where you're solely using your social media applications, there are analytics and insights that you can use. And these allow you to engage or not engage with your posts. And it also helps you determine if your call to actions or CTAs are being executed. So for example, through the social media platform, management platform I use, which is called Sprout Social, it allows our analytics, allows me to see how our posts are doing, if they're successful, what time of the day we have the most engagement. I can actually, since we had this platform for about 2 years now, I'm able to see that lunchtime, mid-afternoon is a great time for us to post on Instagram. Whereas Facebook, it's in the morning or post after work are great times to post on Facebook, depending on the content. But it's a social media management I use. And there's others. So there's Sprout Social, there's Hootsuite, and these platforms take about 30 days to read your social media platforms and provide you with information. They can kick out things a little bit faster, but it typically takes about 30 days for these platforms to read your posts. They can go through your messaging and provide you insights and information to help you with the success of your platforms and how you post. And just that information will be very, very helpful. If you cannot afford to pay for a social media management platform, you can still see some of that information through the actual social media insights and analytics. So paid social versus organic social. No matter how much you develop a strategy, your post reach isn't guaranteed. Paid social media ensures that your campaign gets seen. You're paying for your audience's undivided attention. So what's the difference between paid social and organic social? And why should paid social be an essential component of your social media strategy moving forward? Paid social displays sponsor advertising content on social media platforms targeted to specific customers, while organic social is a social activity that promotes your brand, does not have any marketing spend attached to it at all. So you're paying for that space, you're paying to reach that target audience, as opposed to your organic pieces that you're not paying for, that you post with the idea that you're hoping that person is going to see it, but it's not targeted specific to that target audience that you learn about. So as you build out your content strategy, you should include a weekly or monthly budget to promote your posts. And that all depends on what it looks like for you and how you're going to gauge that return on your investment or your ROI. So this must be done very, very strategically, and we'll get into a little bit more about that throughout later on in the presentation. But amplifying your content with paid advertising will assist you in reaching your audience and expanding your brand recognition. So before we move on to understanding your audience, are there any questions thus far about the current trends of what we're seeing between video analytics and paid?
I have a question.
Yes.
When you're talking about your paid social, are you talking boost? Or are you talking sponsored content on social?
I'm talking about boost I'm talking about our boost. I'm talking about
boost.
Yes,
Okay.
you're paying for a boosting post. Yes.
And the other thing I would say that we're seeing, and I would love to hear what you're seeing, is on TikTok, we're seeing that more organic the video looks, the better engagement it gets, the more polished it is, doesn't get as much engagement. Is that what you're seeing as well?
That is correct. So between our Instagram, so we're not currently using TikTok in North Carolina Central, but we are heavy with our Instagram, and we do pull content from some of our student influencers. But if the posts that are more successful are the ones that look authentic and they don't appear to be staged. They happened directly after an event or during an event, or we're talking with individuals as they're engaging in a specific activity. So the more organic and authentic the content is, the better. It comes off as more engaging with our customers. Staged pieces, people can see right through it and they know that it's staged.
Yeah, which I think is fine if you're doing sponsored content, because those look more like ads, right? But yeah, I think it's different. But even with sponsored content on TikTok, we're seeing that it needs to be kind of more organic, just for engagement. It's just that platform.
Yes, that's the way that platform is set up. It's established just to be a kind of on the fly, in the moment experience. It's something that's happening. There are different as you mentioned, ads or sponsored pieces, or you're an influencer and it's a little more specific or more tailored to being more of an ad, as opposed to being just an organic experience that you're a part of and it feels real and true to you.
And Ariel, I think you hit on something really kind of important, is a lot of people think that they post on Facebook or Instagram and all their followers are seeing it, and that's just not really the case, correct?
That is not the case at all. Yeah, and there's a piece I'll touch on when it comes to followers and the algorithm that talks about what that looks like and why that's happening and how to try and beat that algorithm as much as possible.
Great information. Thank you.
And Melissa,
thanks, Chris, for those questions. Really quickly, Ariel, we did have, and I see, Melissa, you have your hand up, but I just wanted to note, Ariel, that in the chat, there is a request to make the presentation bigger. Can you make it full screen?
Yes, I can. If you give me 1 second, I do apologize.
And then while you're doing that, Melissa has a question for you.
Okay, and I can hear Melissa's question.
Great, thank you. I don't know if this question will be answered in the presentation, so if it is, just let me know. I noticed that specifically on Instagram, there are ways in which we can boost our content even if we're not boosting it. So for example, topics. I've noticed that our content does really well when when we have access to content topics, specifically when using Reels. And so I was curious if you know of any other features that can assist with our content, and things that we can access or have access to doing, things like that. If there's any other things that Instagram is willing to give to small business owners.
So what I've been utilizing is that, I'm sorry, is that better for you all? Okay, awesome. So I also see with using the call to actions within Instagram. So they have been, there's another update that they have is terms of product placement. So being able to purchase product directly through the app, having your call to actions more prevalent. So whether it's having direct communication or being able to include what that CTA looks like has been an addition to Instagram that I've noticed has been successful. So their Instagram had made some updates that is making it a lot more engaging and coming more so on an e-commerce side for a business. Maybe you don't have a brick and mortar, maybe you do, but Instagram has created some updates that allow you to really hone in and let your social media be that landing page or that front door to your business or to your website or wherever that call to action is, where you're actually leading them through that customer journey. Any more questions?
Ariel, we have a question in the chat. Let's see, there are a couple of things happening here. Can you please share the details from the first slide for measurement of time spent on ad viewing, etc.?
Yes, I can. And what I'll also do, I can share this presentation with you all at the end as well.
Perfect. Yeah, and we
Okay.
can send it back out. Yeah.
Okay. So we talked about our trends. We talked about video analytics and paid ads and pieces like that. So we want to move into understanding your audience. And so maybe you've already done this and maybe you have ideas and strategy, or maybe have a small glimpse of what your audience looks like. But let's really dive in a little bit more. So what are your platforms demographics say? What are the Instagram demographic usage and numbers telling us, and how is information beneficial to business owners like yourself? When you define your target audience, essentially you're looking at three elements. You're looking at the geographic aspects of your audience, the demographic aspects, and the psychographic. And the psychographic is kind of a new concept. It's been there a while, but it's a new concept that we're all talking about, the study and classification of people according to their attitudes, aspiration, other psychological criteria, especially in market research. Amongst those 2 being active users, so we want to focus on Instagram a little bit more. Of those 2 million active users on Instagram, the largest group are people aged 25 to 34 at about 33%, with 18 to 24-year-olds closely behind at 31%. 50% of those users identify as male, 48 identifying as female, and spending close to 30 minutes daily on the platform. And that's just we're just talking about bare minimum 30 minutes. That is not exceeding, that's just the average time. So within that demographic, you have Gen Zs, millennials, who are generally pretty tech savvy, right? And who are averaging about $171,000 to $72,000 in terms of their salaries. And so they're willing to spend their money, but they're also wanting to spend it on a more responsible level because they are aware of where their money is going and the trends and what's happening just in terms of inflation and those kind of pieces. So understanding your demographic is really important, just on the side of geography, the geographic location, their demographic, and their psychographic location. Another portion of understanding your demographic is where are your customers and what platforms are they using? I am an Instagram person. That is my happy place. I enjoy it. I am not a TikToker. I understand it, but if you want to grab my attention, place your content on Instagram. And so when you when you're understanding your analytics, what we talked about previously, you also can understand where people are. And for those individuals who like multiple platforms, for some people who love Instagram, but they also love Twitter, what does that look like for them? And what is their experience going to be when they're interacting with your content? So while you're, so you need to consider that when you're on Instagram, they're looking for more video assets as opposed to Twitter being more informative verbiage. And so when you're making content and you're considering your strategy and your plan, you should not be creating the exact same bits of content for all platforms, because it does not make sense, essentially, right? Some content can go on all 3 platforms or whatever platforms you have, but just keep in mind that every piece of content may not fit the platform and may not fit your audience. So understanding what that looks like. So it's important that you can't always post or create the same content for every platform. I mean, you cannot just check your publishing box to say you did it. Any questions about how to be more strategic or what that means in terms of demographics and understanding your audience? Good to go. Okay. So next we're going to discuss goals, strategy, and scheduling. This is one of my favorite portions of social media management, and are the setting goals, understanding what the strategy will look like, and scheduling. I'm a big scheduler. I have tons of notebooks. I have Asana that I use to schedule this. I have my actual planner. So scheduling is it just really gets me excited. So what are social media goals? So where you start, it matters a lot. Setting social media goals for your business will help to ensure that your efforts don't go to waste and you're building towards something. But remember that social media goals and social media strategies are 2 totally different concepts, right? So good social media goals will align with your broader business objectives. Examples of common social media goals include generating leads, driving traffic to a website or online stores, or gaining more followers. Social media goals can apply to anything from single or ad or organic posts to full-scale campaigns. Social media goals aren't the same thing as social media strategy. Instead, think of your goals as components of a larger strategy. Clear social media goals give you a target to aim for, help you get buy-in for your manager or your stakeholders. Well-made social media marketing goals will also help you manage your budget, structure and streamline your workflow, prove your market return on investment or your ROI, and align with your social media activity with your organization's broader business objectives at the forefront. And so once again, these are some examples of social media goals and that you can do through your business, through your market research with your business, through your business objectives at the forefront. So maybe you want to have a strategy that's solely focused around increasing your brand awareness. Maybe you've been doing some social listening, and what you hear about your brand is not the same thing as what your brand is internally as your business. So that can be a social media goal, is how to make sure that your brand reputation is clear and that your brand influence is strong, or can be stronger based on what it is that your goals are as a business. Maybe you want to increase traffic to your website. And so you want to utilize your social media space as that conversion point to bring more foot traffic to your website. You want to improve your community engagement. You always want to boost a conversion or sales, and that conversion point can be different depending on your goals. You want to generate leads, deliver customer service, gain more insights with social listening, which is a piece that we recently started using with Sprout Social to understand the messaging and sentiment of our audience, of those who are following and engaging with us. And you also may want to utilize socials as a point for attracting candidates to open positions. So there's an array of different things that you can focus on when you're starting with your social media marketing goals. So once you move to the goal, the initial part, now you want to be smart about those goals, right? So you're ready to turn your business goals into strategic initiatives. It's time to focus on setting SMART goals. SMART goals are something I think is really, really fun to do. It can be a little strenuous at times if you don't understand the concept, but but SMART goals plays very heavily into creating those SMART goals. So first we'll just break down what are SMART goals. So SMART goals are specific, measurable, achievable, realistic / relevant, and time bound. So specifically, what are we doing exactly? What is the target for the specific goal, and how do you stay from broad objectives? Making it measurable. How do you know how do you determine if the goal is successful, and how do you measure success? Is it truly achievable? Does it make sense to us? Is it realistic? And also, realistic and relevant. Was the goal realistic based on your company's market endeavor? And will the goal really assist in the plan? And is it time bound? What are some time constraints? What are the time constraints that you set to make hard deadlines? So for example, Company A's goal is to increase its online reservations. So by dropping in the chat, what would be the best version of a SMART goal? Just a sentence or 1 or 2 sentences of what would be the best version of a SMART goal for Company A who is looking to increase their online reservations. Any takers? Or you can say it out, or you can come off mute and say it out loud if you want to as well. So I'll give you an example of what that would look like. So a SMART goal for Company A would go as follows. By the end of the third quarter, we will increase our online reservations through Instagram by 18%. Yes, I see you, Sheba. Okay, our online reservations 10% within our next 60 days. Great. Thank you, Sheba. That was a good one. So as I said, by the end of the third quarter, we will increase our online reservations through Instagram by 18%. The goal is specifically focusing on Instagram as the platform. It is measurable because you can incorporate reservations on your page posts and stories. By the end, based on their first and second quarter goals numbers, Company A has determined that 18% is a reasonable increase. And it is time bound because they focus on the third quarter, which is July, August, and September. Hence, you have a strategic SMART goal. Does that resonate well with everybody? Okay. Any questions? So you have your goals, you have your SMART goals in mind. Now you want to create a content calendar. So social media calendars help formalize the process of creating and publishing content by giving you a structured schedule to work with. A well thought out and organized social media calendar can help to define your content themes, posting cadences to each social media platform's audience and objectives. So what steps should you take to get there? Initially, you should conduct an audit of your platforms to see what posts or which parts of your content perform the best. I try to do this quarterly or based on specific campaigns. I think it was during the pandemic. We had canceled all football, of course, nobody's playing anything. And we decided to take on an endeavor to do a year-long donation campaign called the Stronger Together campaign. And I bring this up because it was a long-term campaign that we broke out into 3 different phases. So throughout that campaign, while I mentioned doing it quarterly, because it was a year-long campaign, was in those 3 phases, that audit actually took place on a 3-week basis to see where we were seeing spikes, information that we were getting, and how well we were doing week to week or in that 3-week span. So I say that to say quarterly is a great point to audit, but if you're in it and you're in a campaign and you need more information and you want to see what's being successful so you can build out more content moving forward, then that quarterly audit may actually change into a 3-week, 4-week audit instead. Pick 3 to 5 topics that define your audience. Use those topics to build out your content pillars to structure your post around. Creating a post schedule for each platform. Think through how often you can commit to posting consistently on each platform. 2 or more times a day, 1 or 2 times per week. There's no wrong answer besides just not posting at all. When you have that non-posting lull, and I'll get to that when we talk about the algorithm just a little bit more, but that will hurt you in the end in terms of your brand reputation and your brand being seen if you're not posting. at all. And create a content repository for visual assets. Compile article links that you want to share. You can always use a Google Drive folder, a cloud-based storage platform to house these for later use. Some social media management platforms such as Hootsuite offer asset storage, where you can actually have all of your assets in one location. So as you're building out your content calendar, you're able to pull those assets right in when you're creating that schedule and that posting cadence. And build out your posts for the day, week, or month using whatever tool keeps you organized. I have personally used Trello. I've used Basecamp. I'm currently use an Asana, Asana is a free version to keep me organized, and it allows me to speak with the student workers I have as well as my part-time employees. So I can assign them different assignment or different tasks. You can upload the visual assets there as well. So there's different options that you can utilize to keep you organized and keep that posting schedule consistent. And you can also consider using, once again, Sprout Social, Hootsuite, Later, Buffer. Canva also has expanded their platform that would allow you to schedule posts as well. So if you're making or creating content within Canva, you can go ahead and post directly from there, and you can actually schedule some posts out. So that can take some of the hectic piece off your shoulders if you are in a smaller business where you don't have the time to delegate design work to one person and now it goes over to your social media manager. You may actually be all of those things in one. And so that can actually assist you with your time management. So before we move on, I know that was a lot to take in between the goals and the strategies and the scheduling. Are there any questions about what we just discussed?
I just have a comment, Ariel, that maybe you'll hit on later, but what I'm hearing from a lot of our clients is content creation, and they don't maybe have somebody to do content creation, or they don't really know what they should be doing. Is there any ideas that you could share with the group about content creation, or is that later on in your presentation?
So let me ask you this question. When you, in terms of the content creation, is it the issue of not understanding what content to make, or knowing what you want, but not having somebody to actually create it?
I think you've hit on both. I mean, like what I
Okay.
hear from a lot of people is that they may not have the resources,
Mhm.
and B, they don't understand what they should be putting on there that will be engaging to the audience that they're trying to reach.
Mhm.
And so a lot of times they're just putting up like this pink background, happy Friday, or it's pizza day, or, like
Right.
nothing that really kind of resonates with their business, but they
Mhm.
don't know what they should be putting out there or how they should be doing it. Is it reels? Is it static images? Is it GIFs? Is it, they're confused. Do they put music to it? Do people listen to the music? Do they have to, and then they don't have the time. So I think there's a lot of anxiety that is happening. I don't know if you see it, but
Mhm.
or hear as well, but that's kind of what we're hearing a lot from people, is this anxiety of what do I post, and then maybe I don't have the resources.
So I'll start with what to post, and then I'll move into resources. So I think the first part of that would be understanding what it is, your brand holistically, and establishing your brand voice. So I'll give you an example. One of the departments that I work with, I'm in the process of restructuring, or not restructuring, but building out what their social media calendar will look like, because the organization is focused on collegiate recovery, which essentially is college students who are living a sober life on a college campus. And so essentially let's just post all of our events. Okay, that's fine. You post all of your events, but what does that mean exactly? We want people to come to our events. We want them to engage with our experiences, our activities. Okay, so what does that look like? So what I've been doing with them is, so we want to build out your events and activities and make sure people are aware. We're putting those on your story. We're going to let those live on your story, and we'll have we'll schedule those posts out. So you have that content that goes out to your story and people can see it, because that engagement piece is happening in that story space. Now for their actual page or on their post, that is more still student experience. What does it look like to be a student in recovery? How do I go about, what does that experience look like? How do I have fun on campus if I'm a student who is in recovery? So those posts are essentially highlighting and showcasing students, nothing that's dated, anything like that, but highlighting pieces. So you see a student who's at a party or during an engagement event and they're having an enjoyable time. But then you have that other piece where they have, okay, this is the event they attended, and this is when it's happening, and this is a follow-up to that. So building out based on the brand voice and what it is that you want people to understand about the organization or the department or the business is really important. When it comes to time, I understand that creating content is not an easy job. I believe Canva is a really good resource. It can really help. You type in, they have a number of different topics that you can utilize and say, I want to do a save the date. Type in save the date, and you're essentially just changing different pieces of verbiage. You can even go down to even change the dimensions of each design, so that you're able to, maybe this goes into your email marketing campaign. Maybe this is going to be on a display ad downtown, or maybe this is for social. So it kind of it helps out with the time management, and also helps out with you're not that in that creative space, that you're able to utilize those assets and the resource they have within Canva. But I think when you get started and you're kind of like, where do I start? It's establishing holistically who you are and what stories do you want to tell about your brand, and then from there you build out that content. But I will say, going back to your earlier question about what we're seeing between Instagram and TikTok, people want to see that and see that experience and feel like they're there. They want to see that, and what I've been finding is more success on the actual post, to have something that is organic and real about that experience. And then from there, you can still tell do a highlight or explain the information through your stories. Another piece that I've been working on lately is an organic image or video followed by information. So I'm now using a carousel more often. So it may be 2 or 3 items that are being created or are put on that post. So you're having all that information that lives there, but also still posting on your story. With the reels, I have had success using, I've had success with, I'm gonna get back to that question, but I've had success with reels that have been engaging, which all happen to have a call to action, which I think is really, really important. The piece that the Recovery Center was doing, they would post something, but it wouldn't be register now or join us or learn more today. Being very specific about what it is you want them to do, because you want them to engage. And so making sure that it's clear that you're asking for information, or you're asking them to do something, as opposed to just posting just to say I posted. I hope that answers.
I'm just bringing up things that I hear, you know, I'm assuming that a lot of same people will be asking or thinking about that. So very good. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And yeah, I see I have a lot of Canva users in here. Question in the chat, are there certain social media platforms that are better or worse for certain industries? Yes, there are definitely platforms that are, every platform is not made for every business or every organization or company. So when I think about my space, in terms of what I do on a daily basis, I'm just going to use it as an example. Instagram and Twitter are my key components. My students are not on Facebook, right? They're not there. Now, my alumni are there, and there are certain pieces of content that I do put on Facebook, but for the most part, I understand that my students are not on. They're on TikTok. They're on Instagram. They're on Twitter. When I work with businesses, for example, when I work with a business that does resume support and resume writing. All of that is LinkedIn heavy. All their content, all their business work is on LinkedIn because it's that business space. It's that this piece of information for that organization. So we built out a lot of content for LinkedIn, as well as some pieces for Facebook. But yes, every platform is not meant for everyone. Like I'm not going to make a Pinterest necessarily for my space, but for our career and professional development organization, they have Instagram, they have LinkedIn, and they also have Pinterest because they built out boards to show, okay, what should I wear on my first day on the first day of the job? You can build out a Pinterest board for that space. Or how do I, how to do resume writing pieces? They can do that through resources or links or archive articles that you can put on LinkedIn, as well as put those things on Pinterest or share those. But Instagram is not really a big, heavy space for them. They do use Instagram for engagement during events. So they may go live during an event that they're doing to get more people to come out and engage. Going live is really impactful because it pops up, people see it if they're following you. So it'll show that you're on and that you're engaging. So it's different platforms with different spaces. That is a great question. That is true. It's not, every space is not for everyone.
When it comes to scheduling, how do you access music? I've noticed that, music plays a really big role in, especially with Instagram Reels and having trendy music. But when it comes to scheduling, for some reason, I'm not sure how to access that into the post.
So I have not been able to add music. I take that back. I have added music. I have added music that has been approved, for example, through Canva. So I've been able to use music through Canva, dropping in some musical piece in there, just audio. I do a lot of just simple audio when I have to. I also build out through iMovie or Final Cut and include that. But when it comes down to, let's say I'm reposting something on Instagram, I am having to go through my phone and put that post up, unfortunately. But I do try and use the resources between Canva and then the audio only pieces I find when I'm creating video content for social media. So let's talk about followers and the algorithm. I don't want to keep you all too long on your lunch. I know we're about 15 minutes into this, but with 15 minutes left. So increasing your followers is really, really important. It should always be at the forefront of your social media strategy. And this is, I don't mean paying for followers. I mean, true, authentic individuals are following you because they want to engage. I know there's a lot of posts out there or spam accounts that'll say, follow me and I'll get you 10,000 followers in 24 hours. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about true, real audience members who want to engage, because large audience lead to increased brand recognition, improved customer loyalty, more opportunities to convert, and hopefully conversion sales. So as mentioned, increasing your followers should always be at the forefront of your mind in social media strategies, but why? So more followers equals more credibility. Brands are beginning to understand the importance of social media in their marketing and applying it, especially on Instagram. 80% of Instagram users follow a business account, but to the extent to which that extent can leverage other followers that they gain for both sales and building professional relationship. Having a large following is essential. More followers equals more money. Credibility may be the most significant business reason, but for individuals such as influencers, more followers are required for more fame and money. If you have an IG, if you've been on IG for some time, you must have seen bloggers, celebrities, or celebrities promoting other brands. So they're not doing this for free. More followers equals more affiliate sales. So this is similar to influencer marketing, which also requires product or service promotion. However, in this approach, you're not paid per post. Instead, your account earns money when a link they upload is clicked and leads to a sale. Okay. So it's very different than just being an influencer. This is known as affiliate marketing. In this, a link is posted on Instagram to generate more traffic. A higher count is needed for that as well. The more followers you have, the more clicks you will get. And if one of those followers actually makes a purchase from something, then you receive a cut of the revenue. More followers equals more influence. So you may find accounts that they're not really looking to cash in on their followers. Instead, they want to persuade their audience by gaining influence. So they're solely focused on how can I influence you? How can I just gain power? But that's also driven by having more followers. And more followers equals a better experience. For someone who wishes just to scroll and get entertained on Instagram, a follower account matters because it leads to a more enjoyable experience. And so some of the best ways to increase your followers is post consistently. Adhere to your content pillars. So stay on that strategy and stay focused. Even if you could do, we talk about A/B testing a lot in the industry, which is essentially testing different forms of content. So maybe this piece of content is may have a little bit more text, where another piece of content has more visual components, or you want to test a static image versus a reel. That A/B testing will help you determine what's best, but it still adheres to your content pillars. Connect with your audience and engage. Drop a comment on an image. If you are, I'll use example, if you're a restaurant and a customer's come in and had a really good experience and they tag you in a post, repost that. That's easy content to build out. And now you're building an engaging or experience with that customer for them to come back. And incorporate call to actions, which increase engagement. So what is the social media algorithm? A social media algorithm is a set of rules and signals that automatically ranks content on a social platform based on how likely each individual social media user is to interact with it. By default, social media algorithms determine which content to deliver to you based on your behavior or consumer behaviors. So right now I'm obsessed with otters and red pandas. I don't know what it is about otters and red pandas, but I love it. And so now, because I have liked so many different pages, it's now all coming down my timeline with suggestions for following. It's on the Explore or Reel page. So it's the algorithm is reading what it is that I'm consuming and giving that information to me. So on a more contextual example would be Facebook or Twitter might put posts from your closest friends and family at the forefront. I know Instagram has the breakdown of your timeline where you can see your favorites. You can see posts from your favorite people, and you can still keep it to where you're seeing posts from everyone. So that's just things to think about. Or Instagram can present content based on posts, reels, and stories you've liked already. So making sure that you post consistently is really, really important to break through that algorithm a little bit more. And so here are some ways to beat the algorithm. Step up your photo quality. Low grainy photos really are not going to get you likes. They're not going to get you a lot of interaction. People are going to scroll past them. Making sure keep publishing consistent stories. If you stay on the story space and stay on the post space, you are really building that recognition. Publish more video content. Go live more often. When you go live, there's always an alert that says Ariel V has gone live, or Angelique Stallings has gone live on IG with Chris. So it's going to pop up and I'm going to see that, and it may make me click. And sometimes you accidentally click on it if you don't scroll fast enough. But going live will also get those followers to see that you're doing something and you're actually being engaging. Craft compelling captions, and we'll get to that really quick a little bit about writing for social media. Run a contest or giveaway. Harness the power of hashtags. A good hashtag will build out conversation and get your content found on different pages. So if you're hashtag NCCU Life, hashtag I love Durham, hashtag the Bull City, all these different pieces that may not be exactly specific to what you're posting, but now they bring your content into another conversation. And so your content is being seen by other individuals. Post at peak hours. And when in doubt, post more often. Post, 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 post. And the last section that I'm going to talk about is writing for social media. I want to give you all some more time to ask questions. So I'm not going to speed through this, but I'm going to run through this really quickly. So in a nutshell, social media writing is your brand speaking on social media. Social media content writing includes short tweets, Instagram captions, long form LinkedIn posts and articles. It also includes responses, retweets, comments, and sometimes even your TikTok and YouTube short scripts, which is why it is so important to be able to write these pieces and why this is such a niche field of people who solely just write for social media. You will find people who are, their sole focus is they understand the brand, they know how to tell that story, they know how to make that messaging. And so their whole goal is just to write captions and be able to have content ready. So a brand voice allows the audience to identify and relate to your brand much easier. Sometimes it's called a TOV, tone of voice. Most big brands will have this nailed down on an official document. The tone of voice of your website, social media, the tone of voice on your website, social media, video marketing, and offline print advertising should be consistent. So everything should be consistent across the board. I know it was a question earlier about, do I post GIFs? Do I just do reels? Well, if you're an organization that does that, that's part of your strategy is to post GIFs for engaging pieces, then that should be laid out in terms of your brand voice. But if it's not authentic and it's not a part of your brand voice, then that's not the story you want to tell. So social media content must adapt that brand voice for relevant situations. For example, will your brand voice still be jovial if you receive an angry complaint on Twitter or angry complaint on Twitter? So your messaging, you may not be as jovial, but you'll still stay consistent to the customer service pillars of your brand. Caption lengths vary between social media platforms. Twitter is at 280 characters, where Facebook is at 63,000 characters. I do not advise writing using those 63,000 characters, but because you want content to be short and sweet. Remember that short attention span, you want to grab the reader. You don't want them always to have to read more to get to that CTA or to get to that engagement point that you're trying to make. You need to make your social media accessible to all, because we have individuals who have accessibility needs, meaning that when you make your hashtags, you use capital letters because they are able to understand what that hashtag means. Adding alt text to your images is really, really important, and it is a component of Instagram that you can utilize that can tell the story of an image for those who may have visual impairments. So keeping in mind that your audience may not all be accessible in the same way, and it's really important. Construct your own brand replies. So posting updates is only part of social media writing. It is a process. It would be best also if you have an on point and on brand replies ready to go. This can be labor intensive, so you don't want it to be rushed to ensure that you don't have any grammatical errors. You're falling off the voice of your brand. Grammarly is a really good resource that I use to edit a lot of my content. You can put it on your phone, you can put it on your tablet, you can load it. It can actually be uploaded directly to your internet service provider or anything like that. And it will help you craft your messaging and make sure it is grammatically correct. Because that's one of the biggest things that can hurt you sometimes is having a voice that's not correct and it's wrong grammatically, especially for government sectors, people who work in legal spaces. It's really beneficial if you have something like Grammarly to help you out in that area. And writing for social media isn't just your voice, isn't just you talking to the audience. You want to have a conversation with them. It's about being social. So that means posting, responding, engaging, tagging others in your post. Whether it's tagging another brand or partner, contributor, ambassador, or micro influencer, it's important to be sociable on social. And lastly, hashtags are important on social media as they enable your content to be found by the right people. Using relevant hashtags helps your content to be found and drives more traffic to your social media post. So that's pretty much in a nutshell what I have for this hour. I know we can dive into so much more because this social media universe is huge, and we can talk about different platforms, different spaces, and other information. But I just want to kind of provide some pieces that I use that have helped me be successful within my job and with other companies, small business that I work with. But are there any other questions that you all may have that I did not touch on?
I put in the chat, Ariel. I don't know how you feel about collaborative post.
I love them, actually.
Okay. Yeah.
I do. I love collaborative posts. One, I love when somebody else makes the content and I don't have to make it. It makes my life easier. But also it expands your reach because they have followers that you don't have. They have a different audience that you don't have access to. And so by seeing a collaborative post allows them to see your brand and see and learn more about you, about your organization, and help you with your followers. So I enjoy them. I've been using them a lot, especially when we have collaborative events and activities. I wish you could collaborate more than just two tags, but I've been using them. I found it to be successful, and I find that it also increases your followers as well.
Yes. We offer those through Durham Magazine as well. And Instagram giveaways as well. So that, like, while you can do an Instagram giveaway on your own, you can also, like a company like ours, we do Instagram giveaways for other companies for a fee, but you're engaging with our audience and you have to like their page and like ours. I'm sure there's other companies that do something similar, but I just wanted, since you touched on Instagram giveaways, to give that as another option for people, is that you don't have to just do it on your own, platform.
And I love how you spoke to that too, because I've done some giveaways where you have to follow our Twitter page, you have to follow our Facebook page, you have to follow our Instagram page, and each clue for trivia or clue, whatever we're trying to do, is on those platforms. So you have to be engaged on all platforms, or as you mentioned, with another collaborator that'll help build that those followers up, so you can have more engagement and have that power that you're looking for.
Exactly. And we find that the bigger the gift or the more exciting or whatever, the more engagement, obviously, but just things to think about.
Yes. Thank you so much, Chris. Any other questions?
Do you know how to unlock like some of the benefits that I'm seeing on Instagram? Like, I think I saw where you can schedule a post through Instagram, or getting people to like your newsletter or sign up to subscribe to your email. Do you know how we can unlock to get those features?
Yes. So I have, so you have a business account?
Yes.
Okay. I've been going, when I actually go to post, and if you would like, because we got about a minute, Melissa, if you want to, we can hop on a separate session if you would like to.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, we can definitely do that.
Looks like we may need to have a part dual of this of this session. This has been incredible. We always want to be mindful of your time. Everyone who has joined us today, Ariel, fantastic information. Thank you so much for this thoughtful presentation. Thank you again to our small business series presenting sponsor, Triangle Media Partners, which is the parent company of Durham Magazine, and Triangle Digital Partners. Thank you so much, Chris, for joining us, and thank you so much for your partnership and supporting our small businesses. We will be sending out a survey, and we hope that you all will participate in taking that survey. You'll be entered into a drawing. And let's see, gosh, Ariel, I took so many notes. Man, okay, so we're gonna have to go back. But anyway, we do hold this series every third Monday of the month from 12 until 1 p.m. Next month, we will be joined by Cheyenne Carter, who is over at RDU, and she'll be talking about how your business can do business with RDU. They're expanding and growing, and so we are looking to show people how to do business with RDU. So let me see, I think that was it. I want to make sure that you do the survey that we send out, but be sure to engage with us. Let us know what topics are important to you. Let us know anything else that you would like to hear from us. And, we look forward to continuing to engage with you all. Ariel, any final words from you?
No, just thank you so much for having me, Angelique. Thank you. I really appreciate this opportunity to share, and I hope this is beneficial for everyone. I can drop my email in the chat if you have more questions. And I also share this with Ms. Stallings so she can share with you all.
Thank you so much, Ariel. Thank you as always to
Thank
my
you.
partner in crime, Lauren, who is always, in the background, making things happen. Chris, any final words from our sponsor?
Just thank you all. I mean, and Ariel, thank you. This was just a fantastic, very rich, a lot of great resources for everybody to use. So thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Chris. Always Eagle Pride. Great to see everyone here. We'll see you all next month. Oh, also mark your calendars for our annual meeting, which will be March the 22nd at the Carolina Theater. So be sure to jump on our website for our calendar of events. And we look forward to seeing you around Durham. Thanks, everyone.